After I took ownership of the street, Linda didn't just roll over and cry, she went full nuclear, and that's exactly when I turned the heat up to levels she never saw coming. The day after her Mercedes got towed the first time, she marched over to my house at 7:03 a.m. with her phone recording, screaming that I was trespassing on HOA property and threatening to have me arrested for grand theft auto. I let her scream for 4 straight minutes while sipping coffee, then calmly played the voicemail she had left me 6 months earlier. If you park in the community section one more time, I will have your vehicle removed every single day until you learn respect.
Ein vehicle Facebook refusal.
K1, a new manager.
Within an hour, the post had 412 laughing emojis and 0 comments defending her. That was the moment she realized the entire street had turned on her. But Linda wasn't done. She called an emergency HOA meeting and tried to pass a special assessment, $25,000 per household, to buy the street back from the rogue owner. 11 houses showed up. 10 of them voted no. The 11th was Linda herself. Motion failed, 10 on. She then tried to get the city to forcibly annex the street through eminent domain. The city manager literally laughed in her face and said, "Ma'am, we've been maintaining it for free for 16 years. We're not paying a dime for something we already get to use." Strike 2. Strike 3 was when she hired a sketchy lawyer from 2 counties over, who filed a lawsuit claiming adverse possession of the street because the HOA had maintained it since 2008. My attorney countered with a 42-page brief and receipts showing the city, not the HOA, had paved it, plowed it, and fixed every pothole for the last decade and a half. The judge threw the case out in 11 minutes and sanctioned her lawyer $8,400 for filing a frivolous suit, same amount to the dollar I had paid in towing fees. The courtroom erupted in laughter. I just sat there smiling. By this point, Linda had spent over $37,000 in legal fees and gotten absolutely nowhere.
Meanwhile, I was having the time of my life.
I installed 6 4K cameras covering every inch of the street, motion-activated floodlights, a custom sign that read, Oakwood Lane.
The most trespassing.
No stopping. No crying. This tow fees $400 cash only.
Smile. You're on camera.
I hired the same towing company on a monthly retainer. They loved me. I was their best customer. Every time Linda or her husband even thought about parking, their car was gone within 9 minutes. I have the timestamps to prove it. Her husband, Greg, a quiet little man who sold insurance, tried to reason with me one evening. He offered to pay me $10,000 cash if I just let them park again. I told him the price was now $250,000 and a public apology on the neighborhood Facebook page. He walked away muttering. 2 weeks later, he moved out, rented an apartment across town, left Linda alone in that big house with her dying dream of cul-de-sac supremacy.
That's when things got really dark for her.
Without Greg's income, she couldn't afford the mortgage anymore. She put the house on the market for $749,000. Gorgeous house, pool, finished basement. Normally would have sold in 3 days. And sat. And sat. Because every single showing request came with the same question from buyers: where do we park? Realtors.
They'd first at putting in the MLS notes. Street is privately owned. Parking extremely limited. Seller unable to guarantee access.
Offers started coming in at 450 kinds, then 420 kinds, then 390 kinds. She rejected them all. I offered to buy it myself for $300,000 cash, no inspection, 14-day close. She told the realtor to tell me to go to hell. So I waited. Winter came. I turned the street into a sledding hill for the neighborhood kids, posted photos of 20 children laughing while Linda stared out her window like Ebenezer Scrooge. Spring came. I planted a flower bed in the middle of the cul-de-sac with a sign that said, Linda Memorial Garden. She snapped. started screaming at children from her porch. One mom recorded it and posted it on Nextdoor. The video got 40,000 views in 2 days. By summer 2025, the house was still unsold. She was 6 months behind on mortgage payments. Foreclosure letters started arriving. That's when she tried the final play. She filed for a restraining order against me, claiming I was stalking her by constantly monitoring her movements with cameras. The judge watched my camera footage of her flipping me off 47 separate times and denied the order on the spot. Told her if she didn't like the cameras, she was free to move. 2 weeks later, the bank posted the foreclosure auction date. I showed up. Bid $275,000. Bid $275,000. Closed 30 days later. I now own Linda's old house and the entire street it sits on. I rented the house to a lovely young family with 3 kids for below market, just to twist the knife. They park 6 cars in the driveway every single day and wave at me when I drive by. Linda moved into a 900 square foot apartment 15 miles away. Drives a 10-year-old Honda now, works part-time at Macy's. Last month I saw her pumping gas at the Exxon near my office. She didn't recognize me at first. When she did, her face went white. I smiled, gave her a little wave, and said,
"Still only 27 times, Linda. I'm still counting."
She dropped the gas nozzle and drove off without paying. They mailed her the bill. Some people ask if I feel bad. Do I lose sleep at night? Do I regret spending $41,200 plus legal fees to destroy one woman's life? The answer is no.
Because every time my daughter rides her bike down the middle of my street, every time my wife parks without fear, every time a neighbor texts me, "Thank you're the best thing that ever happened to this cul-de-sac."
I remember the sound of my toddler crying while a tow truck took mommy's car. I remember the 27 receipts. I remember the fake smiles and the clipboard and the banana bread hiding pure evil.
And I sneak like a baby.
So if you're watching this, Linda, wherever you are, I still own the street. I still have the cameras running 24/7. And I still have every single voicemail you ever left me. If you ever come back, I will bury you again. This is Ryan Carter, proud owner of Oakwood Lane, signing off.
Drop a like if HOA Karens deserve everything they get.
Comment the number 27 if you would have done the exact same thing. And subscribe, because the next time someone messes with my family, I'm buying the whole damn city.
Peace out.
She called tow trucks on me 27 times. 27 times. That's not a typo. That's not an exaggeration. That's the exact number of times I had to stand in my front yard in my boxers at 6 a.m. begging some tattooed tow truck driver not to drag my wife's minivan away while our toddler screamed in the back seat. 27 separate mornings. 27 separate $325 fees. 27 separate moments where I felt my soul leave my body and float above the cul-de-sac just watching this absolute evil win. And every single time it was the same woman. Linda fucking McAllister, HOA president, mid-50s, blonde bob that never moved in the wind, always wearing pastel cardigans like she was about to host a church bake sale right after she ruined someone's life. The kind of woman who smiled while she dialed the towing company and waved at you like you were old friends.
I hated her with every cell in my body.
And I'm about to tell you how I made her regret ever looking at my driveway. Let me take you back to the beginning, because if you're going to understand just how far I went, you need to feel every second of the hell she put me through first. My name is Ryan Carter, 34 years old, software engineer, married to Sarah, father to Mia, who was 2 when this all started. We'd saved for 6 years to buy our dream house, a 4-bed corner lot on Oakwood Lane, a sleepy little cul-de-sac in a gated community outside Raleigh, North Carolina. White picket fence vibes, kids riding bikes. Everyone waves when you drive by. The house had one feature I fell in love with the second I saw it. A massive wraparound driveway that could easily fit 6 cars. Perfect for when family visited, perfect for when I worked on my project truck in the garage. Perfect for life. The realtor said, "Oh, and the driveway is 100% yours, all the way to the curb. Survey pins are right here." He pointed at the official plat map. I saw it with my own eyes, black and white, stamped by the county. We closed in April 2023, moved in May, and on May 14th, exactly 9 days after we moved in, Linda knocked on my door holding a clipboard and a fake smile. "Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm Linda McAllister, president of the Oakwood Lane HOA, just doing my welcoming rounds." She handed me a welcome basket with banana bread and a 47-page booklet of rules. Then she pointed at my driveway. "You're going to need to keep this area clear," she said, drawing an invisible line with her finger, about 8 feet in from the street. "That section belongs to the association. It's common area." I laughed. "No, it doesn't. I have the survey. It's my property." Her smile froze. "Well," she said slowly, "we've been using that as overflow parking for years. The previous owners never minded." "The previous owners also never parked here," I said. "It's my land. I'm going to use it." That was the first time I saw the real Linda. The smile dropped. The eyes went dead. "We'll see about that," she said, turned on her heel, and walked away. 3 days later, the first tow truck showed up. My brother had come to help me move the last boxes. He parked in her section of my driveway. By the time we carried the couch inside, there was a tow truck hooking up his F-150. I ran outside screaming. The driver shrugged, got a call from the HOA president. Said it's unauthorized parking on private property. $325 later, my brother got his truck back. That was tow take 1. Tow de pizza 2 happened the next weekend when Sarah's mom visited. Tow T3 when my best friend helped me install a basketball goal. I turned 7. I went to HOA meetings. I brought the survey, the deed, the tax map, the plat, everything. Linda sat at the head of the table and said, "We're looking into it," and then did nothing. I paid a lawyer $5,000 to send a cease and desist letter. Linda responded by mailing every house a newsletter saying certain new residents are refusing to follow community standards. By Christmas, I had paid over $9,000 in towing fees. My wife was crying herself to sleep. My daughter started asking why the mean lady kept taking our cars. I stopped having people over. I stopped working on my truck. I started parking 2 blocks away and walking home just to avoid another tow. And Linda, she parked her pristine white Mercedes in the exact spot she claimed was hers every single day. I said, "Max, it is parked as it warned. My compendant, this is the code bell pick up. You, now, it is send a mark time. I suppose I understand how that. I'm a tow it on this part. Yep, how they come. Then in February 2024, I found the loophole that would destroy her. I was up at 3 a.m., couldn't sleep, scrolling through county tax records because that's what this war had turned me into. And there it was, Oakwood Lane. The actual street itself was listed as parcel Abercathit 0821-447B. Owner Oakwood Development LLC, dissolved 2008.
The life to come in out of tax status delinquent.
Since 2019. Next tax foreclosure auction, March 28th, 2024. The street we all lived on was still private property. It had never been formally dedicated to the city. The developer went bankrupt. Nobody ever finished the paperwork. and the city just maintained it out of habit. That little 40-foot wide, 300-foot long piece of asphalt in front of every house on the cul-de-sac was still legally owned by a dead company, and it was about to be sold for back taxes.
I didn't sleep for 3 days.
I called a real estate attorney buddy from college. He confirmed it. Whoever buys that parcel at auction owns the physical street. They can gate it, they can restrict parking, they can do whatever they want, as long as they allow emergency access. I took out a home equity loan for $50,000. I formed an LLC called Oakwood Freedom Holdings. I wore a fake mustache and sunglasses to the auction because I didn't want anyone recognizing me. There were only 3 bidders. I won it for $41,200. There were only 3 bidders. I won it for $41,200.
On April 9th, 2024, the county recorded the deed.
Oakwood Lane now belonged to me. I waited exactly 1 week. Then, on April 16th, at 6:57 a.m., I stood in my front yard with a cup of coffee and watched the first tow truck of my new life roll up, this time to Linda's white Mercedes. She came flying out in her robe, hair in curlers, screaming, "What is the meaning of this?" I walked over, handed her a copy of the deed, and said, "Morning, Linda. You're parked on private property. My private property. Tow fee is $400 now." I raised the rates. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. The truck drove away with her car. That was the first of 47 tows I ordered on her vehicles over the next 4 months. She called the police 19 times. Every single officer looked at the deed, looked at me, and said, "Sorry, ma'am, he owns the street." She tried to sue me. My attorney laughed her lawyer out of the room. She tried to get the other neighbors to revolt. They all suddenly loved the new quiet street and no unauthorized parking. She put her house up for sale in July. But here's the part that broke her. Because I owned the only road access, every single prospective buyer had to request written permission to park during showings.
As nurse, I denied every single request.
No exceptions. Her realtor begged. I said no. Buyers would show up, see there was literally nowhere to park within half a mile, and leave. Her house sat on the market for 312 days. She finally sold in May 2025 for $189,000 less than asking. And on closing day, she had to pay me $800 cash for 4 hours of moving truck access. I stood in my driveway and watched her hand me the envelope with tears in her eyes. She whispered, "You're a monster." I smiled and said, "You called 27 tow trucks on a toddler's mom. I just returned the favor, permanently." Now my driveway is peaceful. My cars park wherever they want. Kids ride bikes down the middle of the street because there's no traffic anymore. And every single day I walk outside, look at my private road, and smile. Some people say I went too far. I say 27 tow trucks was too far. This was just justice. And if you're an HOA Karen watching this, remember my name. Because I still have the deed. And I'm not done yet.